Ever stop to think about where the subject of your sentences really comes from, grammatically speaking? I
Yep.
mean, it's always right there at the start.
That's a really good question. It's something linguists have definitely spent a lot of time on.
So what are we digging into today?
Today, we're getting into the VP internal subject hypothesis. It's a pretty central idea in, well, modern linguistics.
VP internal subject hypothesis. Okay, sounds a bit technical. What's the main idea in simple terms?
The gist is that the subject, the noun phrase doing the action, usually it doesn't actually start out where I normally see it, at the front of the sentence.
Really, not at the front.
Nope. The idea is it originates inside the verb phrase, so much closer to the actual verb.
Inside the verb phrase. Okay, that sort of flips the picture.
It does.
So our mission for this deep dive, then,
Yeah.
using the excerpt you sent over, is to figure out why linguists started thinking this way. And, what does it actually tell us about sentence structure?
Right. What was the puzzle? What observation kicked this off?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it came about partly to solve some issues with older ways of looking at grammar. A really key piece of evidence is how adverbs behave.
Adverbs. How do they fit in?
Okay, think about a sentence like, John quickly left. Fine. You can also say, John left quickly. Still fine.
Right.
But then you have sentences like, surprisingly, John left. That adverb, surprisingly, it seems to modify the whole event, right? The leaving by John.
Yeah, it refers to the whole package deal.
Exactly. Now, if Jen was always just sitting out front, separate from left, it's a bit harder to explain why certain adverbs seem tied to that whole action unit.
I see. So the adverb placement suggests John might have been part of that left unit initially.
Precisely. It suggests a closer initial relationship, potentially within the verb phrase.
Okay, I think I'm getting the puzzle now. So this idea of subject starting in the VP, does it make things tidier? Like, does it help create a more consistent picture of sentence structure?
Yes, that's a major motivation. It supports a more uniform underlying structure. The idea is that verbs kind of consistently assign roles to their participants, including the subject in a local configuration first.
So the verb dictates its immediate neighbors, including the subject initially.
Right. In its thematic role, like who's doing the action, the agent. Having this uniform base simplifies the overall grammatical theory. It helps explain patterns across different sentence types more elegantly.
A cleaner engine underneath, basically.
Okay.
You mentioned something called subject raising to spec TP. Sounds complex. What's spec TP in simple terms?
Okay. Think of TP as the tense phrase. It's sort of the structural layer dealing with time and agreement. Spec TP, or the specifier of TP, is just a specific position within that phrase.
And that position is important.
Yes, in many languages, like English, it's considered the standard required landing spot for the subject. So raising just means the subject moves from its original spot inside the VP up to this spec TP position.
Okay. So it starts near the verb, gets its job description, and then moves upstairs to the official subject office, spec TP.
That's a pretty good way to put it, yeah.
How does that movement affect how we understand the sentence, or does it?
Well, the initial position inside the VP is key for getting its thematic role, its meaning relationship with the verb. The later movement to spec TP, that's often seen as driven by purely grammatical needs.
Like checking a box.
Sort of, yeah, making sure the structure fits the language's template, like having a subject in that specific spot.
Makes sense. Function first, then form. Does this VP internal idea help explain why languages sometimes put words in different orders?
Absolutely, that's a key point. While the VP internal starting point might be quite common, maybe even universal, how and whether the subject moves to spec TP can really vary across languages.
So that contributes to the differences we see, like subject-verb-object versus subject-object-verb.
Exactly. It helps account for some of that surface variation in word order.
Interesting. So maybe a universal starting block, but different racetracks depending on the language.
Yeah.
You also mentioned the EPP. What's that?
Right, the EPP. It stands for the Extended Projection Principle. In simple terms, it's a principle in some theories that basically says every clause must have a subject filling that spec TP position.
It's a requirement.
It's a requirement. And the VP internal subject hypothesis works neatly with that. It provides the subject from within the VP, which can then move up to satisfy the EPP requirement.
Got it. So the VP provides the candidate, and the EPP says, okay, you need to stand right here at the front.
You could think of it that way, yes.
Is everyone on board with this? Or are there, arguments against
Oh,
it?
it's hugely influential, definitely. But like most big ideas in science, it's not without challenges. There are certain types of sentences, certain constructions that don't fit the model perfectly, leading to ongoing debate and refinement. It's still an active area of research.
Okay, always more questions. So let's try to wrap this up. The main takeaway seems to be that this VP internal subject hypothesis gives us a deeper picture. Subjects might start their life, grammatically speaking, inside the verb phrase,
Right, closer to the verb.
and the evidence comes from things like adverb placement, and it helps create a more consistent underlying structure for sentences. Then, often, it moves to the front to meet grammatical rules like the EPP.
That sums it up nicely. It really refines our understanding of that fundamental subject-verb relationship.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Could thinking about sentences this way actually change how we understand language processing in our own heads? What other simple bits of language might have these hidden depths?
That's the fascinating part, once you start looking under the surface.
Maybe we should tackle determiners next time. Thanks for breaking down the VP internal subject idea.
My pleasure. It was fun to discuss.